Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tattoos with Intention podcast. This episode it's a little bit cheeky. I'm just downloading and re-uploading an interview that I did with a good friend of mine, Daniel Stojnovsky. I think I got that wrong, but Stodgify. It's his podcast. Last time I was in Sydney, I sat down and we had a good chat. I really enjoyed this interview because me and Stodge go way back. We shared a mutual spiritual teacher who worked with both of us in a very deep way. And I have tattooed Stodge a long time ago. He's had more tattoos since. And so reconnecting on my last visit was great. We had a really good chat. I think it's a nice insight or window to anyone that's been following the podcast for a while to listen to me being interviewed by someone that knows what questions to ask and reveal a little bit of the story. And I had an art teacher back in high school that said, work smarter, not harder. And so I feel like I'm just doing that here. I know Stodge won't mind. And hopefully you enjoy the episode. And like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you can be bothered. Thanks.
All right, so today's guest is a dear friend of mine, a brother. Haven't seen him in many years, but we keep in contact when it's time. And he's down from the northern part of in Brisbane, yeah. So he's from Queensland, Brisbane. And basically, he's a podcast host. He's got his own podcast, which started back in 2018. He's done many episodes. He's a tattooist. He's a spiritual man, deeply honoured. He's also a good friend of mine and a brother, a true brother, someone that we come from a family and hopefully one day it's reunited again. Anyways, Mark, round of applause, everybody. Yeah, woo, yeah, okay, enough. And I've got another special guest in here today, Joel, which no one can see him because he's blended in with the with the tool shed behind him. But anyways, welcome, man. It's good to see you after so many years.
Yeah, it's been beautiful to connect again, bro.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah,
you haven't aged a day.
You either. You're looking younger. You're going backwards.
Yeah, it's good. I want to look younger, man. Being 35, what's going on? I'm going for a middle-age crisis, I reckon.
35?
Yeah, I'm 35. How old are you?
Okay, I'm 37.
37.
Yeah.
When you turned 30, man, did you start thinking, shit, like I turned 30 and what's going on in my life?
Not really.
No, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a hard moment. Then I went 31, 32, 33 is right. Then 34, fuck. Then 35, oh shit. Next year I turned 36. I'm like, it's time to settle down and have some children.
Yeah. See, I had kids at 30.
Yeah.
Well, I had a kid.
Yeah.
So I think there was other things going on other than my age.
Yeah, there was.
That made me go like, all right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Life's changing.
No, I got you there.
I think for a lot of men, going past that 30 mark and not having something established that's like more important than themselves, it would be a bit of an alarm, What am I doing?
That's exactly me. So I've got a cigar there for you. Help yourself any time. We've got some whiskey. That's 100% how I felt. So, but the thing is, I made a decision that I didn't want to get married or didn't want to have children before. I've got the lighter here for you, bud, for whenever you're ready. I didn't want to, and today we're actually, guys, just for the people at home that care, we're smoking Fuente Opus X. So thank you, duty free. I was always very, I always thought about Saturn return. I didn't want to do any of those major life choices or those next stages in my 20s. I don't even think I was ready in my 20s, and I don't even think I was ready in my early 30s. Yeah. Even now, I'm thinking about, okay, I feel that I'm a late bloomer, and it's which you would have attested to from when we were always doing ceremony and whatnot together. Yeah. Now is a time where I've actually started to mature quite a lot, and I can handle that. Back then, no chance. So, yeah, I was always very critical and thinking that, okay, Saturn return, and you go from 28 to even in your early 30s, like that's the point where a lot of rockiness happens and relationships break down and people start to figure out who they are. So I'm like, why do I want to be in those, in a marriage or have children if I still don't know who I am? It's like the furthest thing away from me. So that's how I felt.
Yeah. I get you.
But you've had your partner
Jurish.
Jurish. Okay, I don't know how much we're going to say on this, but yes.
Yep.
She's a beautiful woman. We've met before. You guys been together since when?
I think it was about 2013 when we met.
How old were you then?
Don't make me do maths.
No,
I don't
don't do
know.
maths. You were young.
Yeah. Well, and we're together 5 years before we had Mianna.
Beautiful.
Yep. So yeah, it's been over 10 years that we've been together. And yeah, so we went through those sorts of stages of reconfiguring and understanding who we are in partnership.
Yeah.
And with a lot of devotion and understanding and room for each other to have our own processes and journeys and stuff. And it was supportive being in that. I think going through that and trying to establish a relationship would be really confusing,
Yeah.
you know. But we'd already sort of connected and we were super solid before we hit that stage, so we
Fantastic.
could do it together.
Because from the things that you told me when we had burgers at Mary's, which the burger was actually quite small. I wish it was a bigger burger at that
Yeah,
place that we went to. But I got a nice jacket out of it anyway, so thank you.
you did.
But we were talking about some stuff, and it makes sense that when you have a partner that can allow you to go through that type of stuff, and
Mm.
obviously she would have gone through her stuff, but she was very self-aware, and you're very self-aware on a
Yeah.
spiritual level. Would you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that in your
Yeah.
20s?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely were aware of those layers, Like you're saying, you're a bit of a late bloomer. I think myself and my wife were like early bloomers,
Yeah.
very much so. We were experiencing a lot of things really early and sort of we came together off the back of that, just extremely open. I was talking to Joel about it on the way here. Our communication's just like extremely clear. We have high visibility with one another in terms of what's happening, even internally, so that makes it a lot easier, I think. When I see things not working within relationships, that's because that communication piece.
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
I'm finding
isn't
it
there.
big time I'm finding it hard to actually communicate.
Yeah, and I
I-
mean, not even just in your intimate relationship, but like even in family, friends, with the world. It's like if you can't communicate what's happening between your internal and whatever is in your external,
100%.
there's going to be abrasion and conflict. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I found it extremely difficult to open up and talk about how I felt after Win passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even just the true how I'm feeling, I couldn't. I don't know why. I don't want to use the word trauma or something, but let's say there's like a big shock, a big hurt, and I just shut down. And it took me finally about 5 years after he passed away. And you guys know, I always make reference to my mentor Win. Same mentor for Mark over here and for Joel over there. So you can see now how the bigger picture's coming up at episode 30, which is 3. So the Trinity. So whichever way you want to look at that, we'll do the numbers after. But it took another 5 years after for me to fall off a ladder, break my ankle, to actually release that.
Really?
And I remember I was on the couch at home, everything was just flooding and just coming out, and I was just crying like a little baby, just letting it all out. So it just took that, physical pain, but also just finally it came out.
Yeah,
It came out,
Yeah.
and even still now, I still have issues opening up and communicating, but it's a lot better because I'm understanding, I'm still processing it all,
Yeah.
because he passed away at a pivotal time in my life, at that, when I was going for my Saturn return.
Yeah.
So when I was about 28, 2018, 28,
Yeah.
so that was right then, just shut down afterwards, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting the physical access point to the emotional charge.
Yeah.
I see it a lot in tattooing.
Yeah, which we'll get into. So what I want to go into a bit is like, you know what? When you came into our group, and I'll refer to the hoop or to the family when we started doing ceremony and whatnot together, I didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
And Mark, I still fucking don't know that much about you. All I know is from when I met you,
Yeah.
you're a fantastic tattooist. You're a very gentle soul, very compassionate, and you give everyone time and space to process. So like a very old wise Buddha, just something like
Buddha?
that. Yeah, Buddha, something like that,
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass.
That's
But
okay.
that's what I know. And then I know a little bit about your family and whatnot and what we've grown and what we've created, but I don't know anything. So I don't know if your listeners know, but I would like to know a little bit about your journey, and pretty much how you came to this, because it's not just tattooing. You have a very deep spiritual understanding. and a way about you and the way that you do things. And I don't believe you just get that from tattooing. I believe that there's other avenues and aspects, and there's things that have built up onto that. So I want to understand what has made you you and how you've come here. So if we can just run it back and whatever you're comfortable with, and if we need to edit stuff out, I don't know whatever, but let's just go. I want to find the raw mark.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it definitely isn't from tattooing. You know, it took me ages to add that layer or let that layer permeate my tattooing, the spiritual layer.
Yeah.
But I was reflecting on this with Jurish the other day, and she was going, I think the reason you are the way you are in terms of listening and awareness and attention and that sort of softness with people. She goes, I think it's because of your sister.
Yeah.
You know, she thinks, that's what she pointed to.
Yeah.
So, you know, growing up,
yeah,
a piece that a lot of people probably don't know, that don't know me well, my younger sister has Down syndrome, right? And like as a kid, you don't have any preconceived ideas about people. You know, you remember being in like playgrounds as a kid, and it's like you connect with anyone, right?
Yeah.
Even still now, there's lots of things where I think back, and it's like the older generations have all of these programs around maybe race and color and all of this stuff. As a kid, it's like didn't matter where anyone was from. You know, being in a multicultural country, you could connect with anyone. I had friends from all over the place. And so my sister was just this, well, she is still, you know, this blessing. You know, it's like I knew she was different. You know, I knew she needed extra time to be understood and stuff. From a very young age, I was like really, really aware of like how special she was. And I think that's probably been the main component that's formed how I interact with people. You know, that's different.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I didn't pick. Jurish reflected that to me. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right.
Definitely right.
I could remember what other kids were like, even to my sister, and just being like, what's wrong with them, man?
Yeah.
Can't they see that she needs them to slow down or
I understand.
take some time to listen to what she's saying, or, you know? So that's probably a big part of it. And then, I don't know, in the background as I moved into tattooing, there was a part of me that was aware that there's this subtle aspect to what's taking place for someone when they get tattooed. But as a teenager and starting to tattoo, it was like really background. It was quiet.
How old? How old were you?
I started tattooing when I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so like 18, 19 is when I started thinking about tattooing.
Yep.
And it's only on reflection where I was like, I had awareness that people would get things like, say, to process someone passing away. That I was interested in. I could see what was happening, but it wasn't on the forefront enough for me to vocalize it. I just got swept up in the tattoo industry and the scene, and it's a cool job. Well, it was then.
So there's a cool job, I think.
Yeah. So I started tattooing. How I came around to meeting Wind and stepping into the hoop, I think that probably would have been 2011, 2012, hey? Or maybe 2013 as well. It might have been the same year as when I met Jay.
Was I there when you got there?
I can't remember all of the faces the first time I went.
I got there when I was in 2012, 2013. 20, yeah. So I think it was 20, I can't even remember. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, around it wasn't. Yeah. But I don't know if you were already a part of it when I got there.
Well, Joel messaged me. You invited me to a lodge.
You guys came after me.
I just got back from Mexico. Well, like South America, Mexico.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did my first sweat there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what lodge was, but I was visiting a tattoo artist in Palenque in the jungle in Mexico. She does everything under ceremony, very intentional, tattoos by hand.
All right.
And I was like, wow, I haven't seen anything like this. So I stayed there for a couple of weeks with her and sort of observed, picked things up, helped out, did some tattoos there.
Yep.
Actually tattooed a guy who just come off the back of Sundance. Hey,
So how did you end up going to Mexico in relation to tattooing? So did you go there for a holiday or
it was a holiday. Yeah.
and you were tattooing at this point?
I had all my gear with me. Yeah. Yeah.
And then how did you link up with this lady?
It was random.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was random. Yeah. I
Synchronistic.
kind of. You know, when you're traveling, you're not in your everyday routine or everyday pattern. So there's a lot of space for whatever you want to call it, the creator, the mystery of the universe.
Yeah. You went by
to,
yourself?
Central and South Central America, Mexico was by myself. I started the trip with a friend that, a really good friend I started tattooing with here.
Yeah.
The start of the trip, we went to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, kind of like an acknowledgement of getting through our early days of tattooing and apprenticeship and stuff.
Yeah, because your earlier work, when I was looking at the at what you used to do, you actually did a lot of Japanese style.
Lots of Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah. Lots of Japanese. All the boys that we were talking about this morning, Joel, you know, it's like I did Japanese on all these guys. I'm covered in Japanese tattoos myself.
Yep.
Anyway, when we apprenticed, we used to talk about being on the road to Nagoya, me and my mate Chris, in Japan. So we went over to Japan together. He was going to America. He just married a bird there. And he was going there to live. So we went to Japan together, and then he went to the States, and I went to Colombia.
Okay.
And, you know, there's that story I told at the convention on the weekend that happened in Colombia.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Same trip.
Yeah.
Same trip. So on the back of that, anyway, I went through Central America. I tattooed in a bunch of places, just sort of hopping from country to country. When I went to Mexico, I went to Palenque, it's the Caribbean side, and there was just signs in the jungle. You know, like there's all these trails to different things like hostels and, you know, restaurants. And there was a sign that just said ancient tattooing. Kept following that. Ended up, and there was this like cabin in the woods. And Sonya's there. Sonya's, she's from Slovenia as well, like me. But she lives in Mexico. And she's just this jungle woman. Big dreadies, you know, face and neck and hands tattooed. And I hadn't experienced ceremony before. So I hadn't dropped in with wind at this point. And she's, you know, clearing the space, doing prayers, singing songs, Kopal, Palo Santo, you know, and tattooing by hand. And these people having amazing experiences. So I hung out and was just absorbing that and just seeing how different it was coming from a studio that's just doing cool Japanese tattoos. And we connected really well. Like I said, I ended up tattooing some people there. And she said to me, you should get in the Temazcal with Hugo. Hugo was this local guy. Could imagine like long black hair and had like Aztec patterns tattooed on the sides of his head. And he was the shaman there. Young guy though. And I'm like, what's a Temazcal? And Sonya's like, oh, it's just like a sauna. You know, just a sauna, and you pray. You know, he does it at sundown every month. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll get in. So I turned up, no idea what I was getting into. And it was tiny, bro. Like 6 people could fit type of thing, you know.
Hot stones, rocks, everything very similar.
Hot stones.
Fire outside and they bring it in.
Very similar, just really small. Really small.
Small the better.
Yeah. And yeah, so there was maybe 4 of us, 2 people from France. One guy was there. He's in a wheelchair. And he's in the wheelchair. He's naked. And this, his carer was this Polynesian French woman, you know, and she carried him in and put him on the floor, and I was next to him. And then Hugo gets in, and it's all in Spanish, so I can't understand any of the prayers or the songs or what the doors are, what the rounds are. I had no explanation of what was going to happen. And it was really hot, bro. Like I thought I was going to die, you know? And I'm just going like, when's the door going to open?
How many stones was he putting in?
I can't remember, bro.
So just piling him
I
in.
was so in it.
Yeah.
You can imagine first time.
Oh, yeah. I remember my first time.
The first door opened.
Yeah.
He opened the door, and I was just like, thank goodness,
Mm.
waiting to get out. And then the door shut again. I was just like, again.
4 rounds, yeah?
I think more.
More?
Yeah, but I didn't even know what a round was.
You don't even know how long they last
Yeah,
for.
so I'm
You just
trying to get
gotta-
my feet out
Yeah.
under the side to get some cool air.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's this guy who's, you know, in a wheelchair in the jungle lying there, not complaining.
He's probably couldn't. Oh, this is a bad
I
joke.
know.
Maybe couldn't feel anything. Face down,
Maybe.
but sorry, mate. I wish you all the best, but yeah,
Anyway,
no,
it was
no.
intense, bro. It was
was.
really, really intense. And I can remember coming out. So we went in just before sun went down. I don't know. Have you guys done sundown lodges before?
Yeah.
So you go in and the
yeah.
sun's out. You come out and
It's dark.
It's pitch black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, we've done early morning ones, and then we go in when it's dark. You come out when it's light. It always adds another element to it. You go in darkness, come out in light, or you go in light and you come out in dark. And there's always that intention for it. But
Yeah.
because it would have taken you
Oh, it
you
was
completely.
amazing. Yeah,
and you
yeah,
come
yeah.
out. Oh, what the?
You come out and there's like different temperature.
Yeah.
There's different sounds.
Yeah.
You know, and different light. And so I came out and it was the only time I've had it with Lodge too, actually, where I came out and the fresh air, I could just feel it filling my body in a way that was more nourishing than any breath I've ever had, you know? And then Hugo gave me water.
Oh, you didn't drink water at all?
Yeah, drank the water. I was just like, you know? So there was this like huge just appreciation for being put through something that was extremely testing,
Yes.
unexpected.
Yes.
And yeah, it was a massive game changer. I was just like, it took me ages to process what I'd gone through. And then I got back from that trip, and I don't know how it had played out here, but I'd never heard of that ever before in my whole time up until then. Joe was like, oh, we're going to this sweat lodge out at, where was that one? Sahajas. It was that yoga center.
Oh, that's at Dural. So that would have been 2013, 2014. Because he was, when I met him it was probably then 2012 when I met Wind, he was at Dural.
Okay.
Then when we were there for about a year, then when he got evicted from that place, he had to go find somewhere else. So he started doing them at Sahajas. And then he would do it at Sahajas, and then that was for big special events, and he also did them at his house at the entrance.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he did one or two at Nick's place, yeah. So it was
Yeah.
back, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like out the back there. So that was the first one I came to. And part of it was just like, I can't believe that someone's doing this thing that I just experienced in Mexico, in Australia. That's so random. And you told me that, you know, yeah, this guy's helping some of the boys. You know, he's helping Joel and
Yeah.
at that time. And I was like, okay, interesting. Let's check it out. Turned up. Jerish was with me. We were living in the Troopy then.
Yeah, I remember
And-
that Troopy.
And I remember turning up and just being like, I'm not sure about this, you know, because it's like, you know, he was a character and a half, right? And so was Joey. And, you know, I remember
Joey
getting out of the
definitely.
car and just having a look and going like, this is a lot bigger than the lodge I got in. And, you know, clocking Wind for the first time, talking to himself in his ceremonial gear, you know,
Yeah.
just being like, this is a bit questionable. And then getting into the lodge and sitting back and being like, it was gentle. The lodge was really gentle.
It was, yeah.
Well, he's a gentle guy. And so I was like, this is legit. I don't know if this is legit. What is this? But then watching everyone in there having a very real connection and experience and taking it very seriously and taking Wind very seriously. But I was kind of observing it. I was kind of like back row watching it. And then everyone got out and Eli was out of his body.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't met Eli then either, but he was out. And everyone got out and I went to get out and Wind's like, brother, can you come sit with me?
Mm.
And we both put our hands on Eli and he brought Eli back in, you know,
Yep.
like spoke him through some type of landscape
Yep.
and over a bridge to his son and
Yep.
back in. And then, you know, he came up and he was coughing stuff up and we came out and I was like, okay, well, that was real.
Yep.
That's interesting. And then I got out and everyone's by the fire and Wind went and got out of his the gear he was in, and he was putting on his flannel and his funny hat and stuff. And I saw all the cuts on his arm.
Yeah.
It was really confusing. It's a confusing thing because I've spent all of these years learning to do like beautiful artwork, and then he's got random cuts all over his arm, like
Yes.
the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And I was like squinting and trying to work out what it was, and he caught me doing that, and I was like, what's on your arm? Not even sure if it was a tattoo. And he goes, oh, all of these are things I've taken from people and I carry for them.
Yeah.
I remember just being like, what's he even talking about?
Yeah.
You know? So there was this like interaction I was unsure on many different levels, but he was also very sure of aspects of the very thing that I was doing, marking people, that I didn't know anything about. So there was like a little bit of seeing the potential of what his wisdom and his skill set was, maybe not being ready for it or understanding it fully though. And so we went on a trip for another 12 months after that,
I
me and
remember.
Jarish,
Yeah,
to
I
Tasmania.
remember that.
So I said, nice to meet you. We're going to go to Tasmania next week. You know, I might see you when I get back type of thing. And I remember him just being like, oh, bring me back some apples. They got good apples in Tasmania, you know, and that was it. And so we left. And then when we came back, probably over a year later, and we got back to Sydney, I'd been processing lots of different things. Life kept playing out. And I thought I should reach out to that gentleman again.
Yeah.
And get in a sweat lodge,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so we did. Me and Jarish went and did a sweat lodge by ourselves at the entrance.
Yep.
In the backyard. You know how accommodating he was. Someone
Of
needed
course.
something.
No, because he would know, and he knew, and he was
Yeah.
always there. He was
Yeah.
always there.
So
He was always there.
He did a lodge just for the two of us,
Yeah.
which was, you know, so profound. Like probably the strongest visionary experience I've had, and you're completely sober.
Yeah.
Which is a really it's harder to process visions and messages when they come in a sober space. I feel you kind of expect it if you're like taking a medicine or doing something that alters you in that
Yep.
way. You can question it a lot more. Anyway, it was so profound that it happened in the lodge. Not to go into it too much, but like saw
Yep.
all these different things. Following his voice in the lodge, where he's like, "I'm opening a door. If you can if you can see this stuff, you know, and you go through that door, then you know." And he led me in, and I experienced all these things like I was in it.
Yep.
And afterwards, I was like, "Did that happen?" And we said goodbye, and we're driving back to Sydney from the entrance, and I just broke down, started like bawling my eyes out and processing it, and telling Jarish what I'd seen. She's like, "You should probably tell him that. Should probably tell him what you saw." And so I did. And then off the back of that, he asked me to drive him up to Cooper Darwin for 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know, he's like, "I need someone to drive me." I was like, "Okay, can do that." So me and Jay went to drive him. And then Joey drove him anyway. They packed their car and drove, but we drove with them.
Yep.
And I ended up helping him
He wanted you there.
Yeah, helped him for 2 weeks up there. Which is when I really started to see what his role was.
Yep.
And I guess acknowledge him, you know, get out of that place of like questioning him to like acknowledging him and going like, okay,
No, he's legit.
You're a legitimate.
He's extremely
legitimate medicine man, you know? Yeah, and that's when I asked him if I could apprentice as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, 21 years.
Yeah.
Are you up for that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay." Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said apprentice, did you want to actually learn the art of tattooing through him, or did you want to start learning the art of spirituality, go deeper into what was actually out there?
So my request to him was, I want to apprentice. I don't want to learn to pour water or do anything like that. I said, I just want to learn whatever you feel's appropriate, you know, whatever you feel's necessary.
Yep.
You know, because you cut skin as well.
Yep.
That's what I do. And he was like, okay, no worries. And
that's cool, man. Yeah.
I ended up tattooing the groundskeeper.
Yeah.
Who was firekeeping for Wind that 2 weeks. There
Mm.
was another guy there, Steve McKenzie, who runs lodges and
Yep.
vision quests
Yep.
in the stalking wolf lineage.
Okay.
So Steve, groundskeeper, when Wind was there, Steve would step in line with Wind and keep fire for him.
Yep.
Right? Because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yep.
I was just like chopping wood and
That's where
passing.
that's where you start.
Yeah. So Steve wanted to get tattooed while we were there. And so Wind's like, you got to tattoo him. It's like, okay. I had a few pieces. I had some ink. I was missing some inks. He wanted black cockatoo feathers,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I only had black ink.
You didn't have red, yeah.
Wind goes, I know some tattooists. I'll call someone.
Yeah.
Rings somebody and organizes for me to go pick up ink off a tattooist in the area
Yeah.
whose wife he'd done healing on or something.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So I ended up tattooing Steve on his balcony of his yurt. He had this huge yurt up on the property. And I'm tattooing and Win sitting in on the session and drumming and singing the whole time that I was tattooing. And it was I've actually found a video of it the other day, hey.
Nice.
Which was crazy because there's songs that I hadn't remembered that he's singing. Which is I'll show you one day.
Yeah, beautiful.
Anyway, I'm tattooing and Wind was it was like he was steering the whole session.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And afterwards he was like, wow, that was really, really amazing, you know. He's like, I got to understand a lot of what you do. And from that point, he was just giving me little, feeding little bits of reflection and insight around what I was doing.
Which you did for everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best
like
way.
Like he did for everyone.
But that was the best way because he gives it to you in little bits and pieces and it makes
Yeah.
sense either then or after.
After. Yeah, it was always after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes even 5 or 6, 10 years after. You don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe on your deathbed. Oh, that's what he meant.
Well, the best part with Wind was all his writing.
Yep.
He wrote things for everyone.
Most beautiful poetic way.
Yeah, so you can sit with that stuff for a long time.
Yep. I still do.
Yeah,
I still do if everything he wrote for me. I still read it from time to time. I've actually got it locked up in a safe. That's how special it is for me, just in case anything happens.
So how did you and Yuga, your mother, how did you guys end up?
How did we end up with him?
Yeah.
So she had a friend that was doing some type of healing work. She's in it's like an African shamanistic way. Her name's was Ivana. It is Ivana. And anyway, she was doing some crystal workshop with her. And then anyway, she was invited to go to lodge. And then she I think maybe she could ask someone else to come. So she asked my mum. And then mum was seeking at that time. That's when I first started when I was 22, 23 around then. I was seeking slowly, but she was really into it with all the Reiki and whatnot. And she goes, Daniel, I've been looking for Native American stuff, and now I've been asked to go. Come, let's go. I said, what the hell? I literally said, what the fuck? Lodge, sauna. What is this? And then we eventually we went to his old place in Dural. And I rocked up there. I had no idea what to expect, but I was very shy back then, extremely shy. So I was very nervous. Didn't know. I see all these people around a fire. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then he said this man with long hair. He goes up, I'm Wind. I'm like, what? Wind? What is this place? And then you see Anthony and everyone else around there. Usually Anthony doing his typical just being frowning and walking around like that. Louise was there. Joey was there. And then there was some other people as well. And I had a very similar experience that you did with Lodge. So the first time we went in there and it was so damn hot. It wasn't a big one. It was a small family lodge. And it was so hot in there. I had no idea. Time left. I didn't know what a round was. I didn't know nothing as well. It was black, pitch black, and he's singing songs, spraying water. And I was just like, this is so hot. I want this to end. And I was putting my hands and my feet underneath trying to get, like, what? I just want this to finish. I can't wait for this to finish. Like, what the hell? But the funny thing is, at that time, I didn't realize that Win was telepathic.
Yeah.
Or telepathic. So he could feel and sense, and he could, in a way, read minds, but he could sense. Let's say, not even forget about reading minds. He could sense And he's very in that place. He was extremely sensitive, and that was his element. So he could know what was going on. And then I'm there going, please just let me out. I want to finish. And then he probably picked it up, but no, go harder. And then we'd do prayer rounds, and then people would pray, and I pray for happiness and love and forgiveness and that type of stuff. And then some other people would go into a prayer, but their prayer was just so long and eloquent. And in my mind, I was just saying, please shut up. Just enough. And I'm just being realistic, like get to the point. Enough. Stop trying to get this on. And I didn't realize that he could actually pick up on this, but afterwards I was a bit ashamed. But then I realized he doesn't care. He's all right.
Yeah.
He was a G.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, of course it is.
And it's like once you experience those moments, it's like you realize that there's almost a sequence of these different moments that you can experience in there. So I'm aware of it for other people now.
Yeah.
I'll get in and be like, over that side of the lodge, someone's having that experience where it's really uncomfortable and they don't know what's happening. And they don't realize. And, yeah, it's fascinating.
You become really attuned to it the more you do, and obviously the more you grow within yourself. And one of the big things was afterwards, like I was like, no, I'd never want to go again. Like this, thank you. But then after we're called back by Wind himself. Got my mum's number, says, would you like to come back? And then I was like, yeah, sweet. And then we're having lodges weekly, every 2 weeks.
So good.
And man, I never felt better in my life. It was fantastic. And his one at that point, he had willow sticks to make the frame, and it was actually growing. Like the roots took again. It was actually an alive lodge. And we were going every week, every 2 weeks, and then we're learning about him and learning about the Native American stuff. And one of the most profound moments for me was a lot of people were talking about aliens and star people.
Yeah.
I didn't really believe that much into it. At that point, I was still like, oh, the government will save us.
Okay.
But that's what I was thinking. Like I didn't know too much, but no, the government will never save you.
No.
The government will just take, all right?
No.
They'll never save you. But he was talking about the star people. He had a talk. And that was when he started talking about the old legends that were written for thousands of years on carvings and through oral teachings, and then the Aboriginals, Indigenous Australians, and a lot of these old, ancient, original people, I'll say. Mate, I was like, what the hell? If he's talking about it here, that means there must be something to it. And then through the likes of Anthony and whatnot later, like opening our eyes more to that type of stuff and to crystals and whatnot, I was like, holy crap, there's something really genuine to this. So we started going even deeper, and that's how it started. But at that, and then we did Vision Quest and all these other things, but it was a spiritual journey, and people that needed to find him found him, and he would help them along the way. But it's like any true good mentor or even good person that wants to truly help someone. It's like once you meet that person, the amount of intention and beauty that's set in you, it grows, and it's like a flower. It's like even a tattoo. Over the years, it ages and goes deeper and deeper, and has more meaning to it. It's not just, There was nothing about making money as well. Like he wouldn't even take money from you.
Yeah,
he wasn't allowed to.
It wasn't a surface level
No,
interaction.
it wasn't. It was very deep, and that's what now, after losing him and thinking about it now, it's like how deep it was. It was literally family.
Yeah.
And one thing I was speaking to Joel about and to the other guys was he knew exactly what to say to you. He knew exactly what to say and how to say it and how to provoke something in you and then how to calm it down. So it was literally you're having psychological sessions with him all the time. He was a psychologist.
Yeah.
And you'd be having a crap day, like something, and then boop, he'd send you a message exactly what's going on, and he'd give you an answer for it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell?
Or the other way, you'd be like seeky or clingy and send a message wanting a reply, and you just wouldn't get one.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be like, nah, not feeding that.
I still have his text messages, and I read them.
Yeah,
I go through it, mate. If you're gonna open up your cigar, what's going on?
I am.
All right.
Chuck my jacket on though.
All right, it's getting a bit cold. Nick, for whatever reasons, fucking left the door open. What's going on, Nick? You're not offering the service, Nick. No, I don't know.
Oh, you're
Just
right.
whatever. We're fine. This is a family podcast here. People will be coming on here thinking, I wanted to learn about tattooing. It's like, no, you know, learn about the spiritual aspect, and we haven't seen each other in many years, and we're going to talk some stuff.
Talk about tattoos.
And then no, we will. And then some certain people will listen to this podcast as well, and then we'll start hashing things out. That there's a bigger group of people here that needs to start coming together and healing. Couple more whiskeys, and we'll start doing that right now. I
I
promise
can
you.
only have one, bro. I gotta
No,
go.
you. I'll have enough for you, bro. Don't worry. I'll fucking walk home if I have to.
It's midday. We don't want to promote.
You know
Oh, yeah, you
what?
could
It
be
is
watching
midday.
this.
I'm drinking at midday. I'm enjoying myself. You know, ever since I resigned from my job, I've been drinking bourbon at 10 a.m.
What?
You know? And my previous fucking manager, if you watch this, it's not because of you, motherfucker. All right? It's not because of you, but it's because I can. I enjoy it.
Do I need to cut this?
No, I've already cut it for you. Yeah. So I've been drinking bourbon in my greenhouse at 10 o'clock in the morning, processing life. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not an alcoholic. But, you know, I felt that I needed something to take the edge off. And I find that I find that alcohol can, if it's used respectfully,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I won't talk about the other
I
substances.
saw a snippet. I saw a snippet of your interview with Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Mentioning the Arabic alcohol.
Which one? Alcohol?
Yeah. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Oh, okay. I got you. I was like, what did we do?
Maybe you did one with someone else. Thought it was with you. But just like that, the alcohol is a spirit.
I think you
think
might
it
have
actually
talked
translates to like flesh-eating spirit. I
Yeah,
think.
well, Ben, I love you, but I'm going to keep on drinking it. That's it. All right. You know, it's the blood of Jesus, you know, wine. But I get that, but it is a spirit, but I get the language and things like that, but I don't go too much in that either. But I think he said it on mine or he was talking on someone else's. Ben's been on a couple of podcasts.
Yeah, he has.
Ben, if you watch this, give me a call, mate. I haven't spoken to you in a while, bro. What's going on? He's all right. He's on a journey. He's on a massive journey himself. But yeah, that's how I started, man. And everyone, if you speak to quite a few people, towards the end of his life cycle, he was bringing a lot of people that needed to come, you know. And then we would meet people from old with him. Then they'll come and go. But he formed quite a strong, sturdy group of people towards the end. But that's that. And I find it interesting that we had quite similar experiences in relation to like how uncomfortable it is. I just want to quickly come back to, so that when you were in Colombia or in Mexico and you're doing the sweat lodge, what happened after with that particular man? Was there a little bit more said? Did he speak to you after? Was just the lodge? You did that, and then he just initiated you initially into continuing on your path.
Yeah, that was it with the lodge. Hey, it was enough, and I think there was such a big language barrier with Hugo. You know, I saw him come in and check on me the next day. Turned up to where I was staying. It was just
Yeah, that's it.
that was about it.
But he knew. But you know, the thing is, they all know, and they all speak to each other on another plane.
Yeah.
All right. And whatever spirit said to him, so that was your first instance, because you were going to the next one after. So that was required. That was required. And that's why now I can understand, because I didn't know too much of your path, but now I can see definitely in relation to your tattooing and ceremony and everything, how it's all linked in together, because you were literally initiated there through that journey, and then it just continued. And it makes sense to me a lot now.
Yeah. There was a fair few pieces at that point in time. You know, lots changed then. And, you know, I think the biggest point that I haven't spoken about that's probably an essential piece, if someone's listening and they're maybe trying to sort of find their own way and understand where to go and what to do, you know. A lot of people are experiencing like this sort of stuckness, I find, at the moment that I'm speaking to. And it was really needing to just pay attention to the reality of what I was doing and who I was being, and seeing this kind of like bit of a fractured story that I had. Being one person within relationship, this is before Jerish, one person at work, someone else when I went out, and those things not actually being cohesive and integrated.
Yeah.
Rejecting parts of myself, being ashamed and embarrassed of parts of myself. So there was this kind of process happening for me that made me want to move into a more purposeful or meaningful pursuit in life. That's what led me on that journey.
Yeah.
Landing in that initial lodge, wanting to understand what I was doing with tattooing more, understand my own tattoos more, understand who I was in intimate relationships and why things were playing out that were.
You're in your 20s at this point.
Yeah.
These are all amazing questions. People don't ask these questions when they're 20, bro.
Yeah. Well,
They
I
don't
did.
ask. Well, you do.
I did.
I was.
Yeah. Well, usually it's like something has to catalyze it.
Yes.
There needs to be something that's usually disruptive enough that it makes you look, because it's like the disruption creates an expansion of your awareness of a moment. We were talking about this in the car on the way here too. And it's similar to like with your ankle. There's these moments that happen and they kind of like break you a bit. And when you break, if you think about light coming in, permeating something, you want to get light to come into a vessel or into a situation or into a person, it needs an opening.
Yep.
And the easiest way for light to get in is for that vessel to break, to shatter in a way. So there needs to be a disruption to the framework that you're currently functioning in. And then you can start to like let a different perspective in or start to look at it from a different way.
I had that at 20. I had that at 21. My second girlfriend, had a breakup and I went through a deep depression. That shattered me. So that's why I spent my 20s building myself up. And I was fortunate enough to have a group of people around me, but also a strong mentor that could help through that and guide you, but not specifically helping like there's a problem there with that's happened. It's like there's all these other aspects of you as a person, and that was what was being helped.
Yeah.
And if we look at it, it was like literally helping me become a man, growing me to become a man.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of a hot topic at the moment is men don't know how to be men. It's because, and so I was learning from them. I had an absentish father. But the thing is, my mum was trying to take on that role because she was the only person, but she can't. So you need men to take that role on, which we eventually had through the hoop and through a group of people.
Yeah.
And Wynn took that on. Uncle Greg, other ones, other people there. And then I don't even know how to chop wood. I learned how to chop wood. That's why I was laughing when you were chopping wood. That's the first thing that you learn how to do is how to fucking handle an axe and how do you cut wood. So when I first started, I didn't know how to cut wood.
Mm-hmm.
Now I cut it well, but I've got a $4,000, log splitter.
Yeah.
So I've upped myself in the world, and now I've got 10 cube every winter of firewood. So I mix it up. So you see, and then you take that as an analogy for life. I don't know what the fuck the analogy is, but just take it as one. I'm sure we'll pluck something.
Well,
but
Greg's old analogy, hey.
What was it?
It's the classic. What do you do before enlightenment?
I love it. You chop wood.
Yeah. Cut water. What do you do after enlightenment?
Same thing, mate.
Chop wood, cut water.
Nothing changes. And
he was so pleased when he got to tell me that, and I hadn't heard it before.
Yeah.
Could tell he was just like, yeah.
I'm gonna give him I'll give him a call after and see how he's going, and tell him that you said that. He'll love to hear that. But a lot of people think that once they achieve enlightenment, that things change or get easier. I don't think so. You're still on your path, and I think that there's multiple bits of enlightenment along the way. There's always enlightenment. It's never just one big epiphany. You have a big epiphany, but the thing is, there's more epiphanies to be had afterwards, and you don't truly or wholly change. I think it's just done over time. I haven't ever experienced those one big moments where it's like, I'm a different person. I felt that there was something wrong, or maybe wrong's not the right word to use, but there was something that needed to change, something needed to happen, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Immediately. It was like, oh, it's done. I'm no longer angry. I wanted to deal with my anger, for example. Well, I still fucking get angry now, but I can handle it better, and I understand where it's coming from now. So then now I'm going to the root and fixing that if something makes me angry.
Okay.
So when people say, I was always waiting for that big epiphany, but it never came. It's because it's just multiple ones over time, and it's something you grow into.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the enlightenment thing. Not that I'm the most well-versed person those lines, but seems a little bit like I know it's focused on self and almost disassociative in ways,
Mm.
you know, where currently, especially in family life, I feel like sacrificing voluntarily this pursuit or need for things to be perfect or for me to be in some enlightened state, because there's things that actually just need to be done. You know, that seems to be the place that I'm shooting for these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't even know what enlightenment is
Yeah.
as well. I don't. I just know that I've got a job to do. I've got a family to support. I've got work. I've got other bits and pieces, and you got to work hard for it. You got to get stuff done. And I think that's one of the most important things for men is that you get stuff done.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's a big one for men.
yeah,
Keep things moving forward.
yeah. You have to.
Yeah. But yeah, men are lacking a lot of meaning these days, hey?
Yeah, let's go into that for a bit.
Yeah,
So what's going on?
may as well. Well, I think that's just to segue it in a very clear way. I think that's what Wind was providing for a lot of people. So there's a layer of him being an incredible healer, but he also had a very zoomed out comprehension of people's story and their place, yeah, for themselves within the space that he was holding and within the threads of connection to other people and the processes he'd take them through. So when he connected with people, his guidance offered them a very well-rounded purpose, meaning, direction, you know.
Mm,
And like meaning, when you break it down, right? Like I went over on the weekend, there was those 4 requirements for something to actually be meaningful, right?
yep,
One of them's the rules, has to be coherent, has to make sense. One of them's the quest,
yep,
yeah, and the quest is the purpose. It needs to all contribute. Every little piece you're doing needs to contribute to some overarching goal.
yep.
You have to actually care about it. You have to want to participate in this game within these rules, do this thing. And then it has to matter beyond you. So has to be other people that are also interested in the thing that you're doing. And it needs to be significant to them as well. And they need to see you. So it's like a lot of the things that are currently meaningful or presented as meaningful for men, or for boys moving into that space, don't have all of those elements. They fall short,
Yep.
they fall short, or they get propped up in an artificial space,
Mm,
you know. Whereas what Wind offered was so grounded and so real and so comprehensive that it was meaningful. It landed really deep,
yep.
you know. Couldn't be taken away by something. Didn't
No.
matter if it didn't get acknowledged online. It was real.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of what's lacking these days. There just seems to be a bit more of like a veneer of meaning getting put out there for people, you
Yeah.
know?
Interesting.
Yeah, chasing things that don't have the same substance.
Yeah. What's meaningful for you?
My family,
Yeah, of course.
obviously.
Of course.
That's
What
a really
else?
important one. My connection to the creator, to the mystery.
Yep.
Yeah. And understanding that, it's something that you're never going to quite work out. It's more like a relationship. This is where like the relationship to your partner becomes really important because it's a model for that. We were talking about it the other night as well. Hey, so you're never going to know your partner 100% either. Yeah, and you're not going to know them unless you let them be the full spectrum of who they are as well and explore that. Or if you
Mm,
put them in a box, expect them to be one way.
yep.
And if you love them, you're going to experience the full spectrum of joy and connection and of suffering, and of isolation when they're not there, or same with the kids. The most joy you're ever going to have and love and connections with your kids, and then it's like you're in a place where you're completely hopeless and they're suffering and it's going to crush you,
Yeah.
you know. So the things that are like, the things that are close to the heart, and I try and make sure that I bring heart into everything so that my life's meaningful, whether that's my relationship with my wife, my kids, my family, my friends, with the people that I work with, the people that I end up actually tattooing. It's like I make sure that there's a bigger picture, that what we're doing when we work, it can slot into. Even if they don't have awareness of that coming in. It's kind of like me stepping into lodge for the first time, or you, right? We step in and we don't have a full picture of what it is that we're stepping into.
Yep.
And as we engage with it, we are fed these layers of information that make each of the stages, or each of our interactions with wind, or with someone else in the hoop, or with the ceremony, make more sense. We're slowly brought in to different layers of intimacy with the experience. It's not like it's just a sweat lodge and that's it. Go home, and it doesn't connect or lead to anything else. There's progressions within it
Yep.
that make it meaningful, And so that's in relationships. I try and bring that into my interactions with people when I tattoo them as well. I ask them, if someone's getting tattooed, a lot of the time they don't think about the big picture, where the tattoo's actually going. Like, what's the point of the tattoos? Where's the finish line?
Yeah.
People just get tattooed and they're just like on this goose chase. Wild goose chase. Don't know where they're going to finish or what they're going to do a lot of the time. So, especially with first tattoos now, if someone's like, this is what I want for my first tattoo, it's like, what's your last tattoo? And straight away, you're putting a marker in place, and it's a trick question. You can't know, because you're going to change every step of the way from your first tattoo to your last tattoo.
Yep.
You don't know when that's going to be, but it gives that broader context of trying to make the process actually be more meaningful and to fit and to make sense, so they don't move away from it and it just lose its gravity, doesn't just float off and become a nothing, which I think a lot of the experiences that people come into contact with these days when they're seeking, I think that's what happens. They just float away. There's nothing that actually integrates it in a meaningful way. They're just almost experience seeking. It's not a refined or fitted process.
You obviously still tattoo, correct?
Yeah.
You'll never stop. Well, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
Who knows?
But when someone comes now to you and they want their first tattoo, take me through that process, because you're not your usual tattooist.
There's so many variables, man.
So I get that. Okay, let me go. Let me direct you a little bit. Sort of like comes in, I want to get this. I want to get this tattoo. It's not just a simple process of, okay, I'll tattoo that for you. For you, when you tattoo, there's meaning. There's meaning for you, and there's meaning for that person.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like if you go to a psychologist, a good one, or like a mentor, like a medicine man, someone comes to you, I've got this, I want help with this. Okay, I can see you want help with that. I can see you want that tattoo. I can see this. And now you're thinking within yourself, which I know you do. All right, so what was before? Where you going? What's after? And which way are we going to go with this?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm getting at, because when you tattoo, you heal, or you definitely heal, but you also can take people through the process of beginning to heal as well, and then that tattoo and their life after will continue that process on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like tattooing is basically just kickstarting a healing process physically. That's what it is.
Yep.
So it's not like getting tattooed for healing. Just like tattooing entails that you need to heal.
Yep.
Your skin needs to heal, right? And so that sort of seeps into other layers, especially if you sort of give it some direction.
Yep.
To go that way. So yeah, if someone wants to get their first tattoo, usually it's the most important step initially is understanding why. And that will usually become a bit of a dialogue that will allow them to understand why as well. So some reflective questioning and listening to what it is that is driving their process, and just making sure that it's not something that's too outside of themselves.
Mm.
It's not like an external influence or a backseat driver
Yep.
that's leading the process.
Yep.
And so usually it's just combing their reason why, trying to understand the deeper why. For example, someone wants to get a rose tattooed on them.
Yep.
You ask them why. They say, "Oh, because I really like the band Rose Tattoo," for
Yeah.
example. Why do you like that band? Oh, because the music makes me feel a particular way.
Okay.
Why is it important for you to feel that way, or what does feeling that way give you? And then you're starting to get to, like you're saying, the kind of the root of what it is that the tattoo is about.
Exactly, and that's the most important.
It's the most important part. Yeah.
I'm finding that there's so many fucking bullshit tattoos out there. I'm going to say that, like you see ones that are like a little ice cream cone or marshmallow or fucking quote from this. And I ask them, like, well, what's this? Oh, I just like ice cream.
Why do you like ice cream?
I get that, but in my mind, and I don't even go as deep as, yeah, like, what the fuck are you getting ice cream tattooed on you for?
Yep.
Or what, you know what I mean? Or these things. Like, there was this one fucking crackhead, nutcase of a woman that I met years ago that I was dating. She actually got tattoos. She had a whisk on her arm, like a whisk,
like
because she loves cooking. Yeah, a whisk.
baking with.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair
Yeah.
enough. I love
Yep.
baking. Fuck, all right. Even then, but then also she got tattoos, particularly on some parts of her body, on her wrist, so that she could remind herself not to do self harm. So
Okay.
that's a deep meaning. Is I was like, fuck, all right. That was the first time I was actually introduced to like really intense meaning for tattoos. So I'm like, that's got more meaning than, I guess, than an ice cream or something. But I don't even know where the hell I was going with that. I was going with the fact that I just find there's a lot of tattoos out there
There's very empty tattoos.
it's just extremely empty tattoos. But
Mm.
there's a beauty between it where you can join one tattoo to another tattoo to another tattoo through the body and give it meaning as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the empty tattoos are really valuable, actually. You know how we are talking before about this, like this point, this kind of perspective shift or direction change that
Yeah.
can take place, especially when there's a breaking,
Yep.
where you become a bit more self-aware, and you might start to take responsibility for what it is that's playing out. If you have tattoos prior to that point, they will usually give you like the breadcrumb trail to understand different aspects of yourself that have been playing out or are fragmented. Um, and so, these empty tattoos, like the ice cream, for example, it's like someone might be getting tattooed in a way where they're like, my tattoos are, they're jokes, or they're just fun, or they don't need to have a lot of meaning, or I just get them to be cool, or I get them to fit in with a certain subculture, or whatever it is. There's lots of very surface level reasons that have deeper roots. And so as soon as you start going in and doing some mapping, right? So mapping's the language I use when I start to try and get a full read on what someone's tattoo is.
Yep.
Okay, so you've only got one tattoo. You don't have lots of tattoos because you've only got one piece of skin. Okay,
Yep.
it's like one canvas. Doesn't matter if you paint little
Yeah.
things all over, it's just one thing. Or one book. Doesn't matter if you write something on all the different pages, cover to cover, it's one book.
Yep.
So when you take the full evidence of the case for someone, when you get a full ledger and you look at all of their tattoos, I call that mapping. Right?
Okay.
And so when someone's in a place where they're wanting to understand how they got to the point that they're currently at, these instances of recording something, regardless of how much meaning they do or don't allocate to it, when you go into the tattoos and you open it up, it uncovers a version of themselves at a certain point in time, what was going on at that point in time, what they were thinking, whether that thinking was something that was really well refined or not, whether it was something that was an influence or whether it was a reaction or a denial of self or a disavowal of self, or it's just so rich, right? It's really rich. And so a lot of the time people can be in these places where they're trying to work on themselves, they're trying to understand maybe the patterns or the programs in their behavior, and they'll reach for everything and they'll miss what's right under their nose. It's like maybe if they look at that ice cream tattoo and they unpack it, they'll get the piece of information that they're looking for. And just that little bit of awareness of what's there can allow it to be undone,
Definitely.
To get back to like a tattoo that, let's say a tattoo that doesn't have any meaning, right? It's like the act itself, right, is meaningful.
Yes.
You cut your skin, you put ink in it. It's like, if you're getting a tattoo, and there's lots of this, there's lots of, you see it online all the time, people that almost, they have a reaction or a rejection to the idea that things need to be meaningful, right? And they react and they reject it so much that it drives them to take the action to get a tattoo that's like, this tattoo means nothing, or this tattoo's meaningless, right? And it's like, if it doesn't mean anything, why did you care so much that you'd go and tattoo yourself to prove the point? You obviously care enough about not caring that you'll go and get a tattoo to represent that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So it's like they're intentionally taking an action to say that the tattoo means nothing. And so all they're doing is recording at a really deep level that they have an aversion to the meaning of things.
Yeah.
Their statement is like, I'm meaningless. Life means nothing. And they're locking that into themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's all well and good, and it can actually make things like far more comfortable when you don't allocate meaning.
Yeah.
You can have like, a smoother ride, let's say, when you don't have to like look at those layers of what it is that you're doing and trying to work out what aspects are actually motivating you and moving you through your experience. But they're not really going to hold you when life starts to present things that are challenging, and that's inevitable. This life is a pendulum.
It is.
So it's like, if you don't have something that's meaningful, and I think, we might be able to use an analogy of something meaningful having weight or gravity, being able to like hold you and anchor you through experiences. If you don't have that and things start to challenge you, and you can't tell yourself or understand for yourself why you're going through the challenge you're going through, if it's for nothing, you're going to be pretty hopeless. That's when things get really, really hard, when you don't know why you're doing something, right?
Yeah, that's very deep.
I'd like to see someone get their whole body tattooed and say it's like, it's actually for nothing, because it's like,
I don't think so.
Tattoo's an endurance game, It's like, you can get a word tattooed and like, big deal. It's like, go through, 7 hours, sessions back to back over 100 hours. And there'll be a point where you question why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know why, you might think it's a pretty stupid idea.
Yeah.
But if you know why you're doing it, then you're going to accept and embrace the thing that's happening to you. And then it's like, it's quite transformative in a positive way, in a way that's like generative and galvanizing of who you are,
Whenever I go through tough moments, I'll sometimes get a glimpse of the work that I've done so far, which is not much, but still on my right arm especially.
About your tattoos. Have you gone into your tattoos on the podcast yet?
Little bits and pieces for the eagle and for the monastery, but not for the ones on my chest.
Okay.
So the thing is, the ones on my chest, I was sitting on, and as I was speaking, I was sitting on that for years. I bought a design online.
That's right, Tashi. Was that his
Tashi
name?
Manox.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal artist. You were impressed when you saw his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might, if I get a photo, we might flick something up on the cast there. But that, you see, I put them on my chest because that was purely for me. Those that they had deep meaning for me. And the thing is, where we placed them is on my chest. No one sees my chest because I don't take my shirt off.
Why don't you take your shirt off?
There's a couple hundred kilos of fat. Oh, there's the bottle cap. Fucking
You should
found
be
it.
doing your podcast with your shirt off, cuz.
I will have. You know what? I might get more subscribers, but like it'll be
A/B
like.
test it.
Sorry.
A/B test it. Do like one
Yeah.
where you got your shirt
See
off,
some
or just
fat-
singlet.
See some fat tits hanging out. No, I'll probably get a group of people subscribing that I don't want to subscribe or follow me. Hey there, daddy. Sorry? Oh my God.
I want to just a cigarette.
That's all right, mate. Are you liking it or you don't want it?
It's too big for me, man.
That's all right. I'll finish it off after for you, bro. Don't worry about it. You only took one puff. It's a fucking expensive cigar too. I was offering you.
Sorry,
It's
bro.
fucking over $100, but it's all right. Nah. Doesn't matter.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll smoke it after. It's even better for me, bro. I get to have it because I wouldn't have opened it anyways. I would have left it for a special occasion, but now I get two of the Opus X's. Now, where was I going
We're
with
talking
this?
about your tattoos on your
Yeah.
chest.
So the one on my chest, I always wanted a tattoo, but the sort of like, what is it? Is it showy? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. I just wanted a tattoo. I thought I had an idea that it was cool, and that they looked beautiful. You know, if done right, they do look beautiful.
Yes,
now
they do.
now when I went through my depression, heartbreak, this and that, blah blah blah.
How long was that stage?
Oh, that was a couple of years.
Really?
I was depressed for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
So the story there was I fell in love with someone, and then they broke it off, and I didn't understand why, and I wouldn't get any answers from them. Well, they cut me out. They
no
cut me out.
closure.
Yeah, they cut me out completely, and that big time. So I had to find closure on my own.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got the closure 8 or 9 years later, which is funny. I got that closure after I went through a period of letting go of closure
Yeah.
and saying, I don't need to forgive you. I don't need to speak to you to forgive you. I just need to speak to myself so I can forgive through this way and I can move on in life this way.
Yeah.
And I gave myself closure.
Yeah. And then it comes around from the
It came out from the other source. She eventually got in contact. Ada says, I just want to give you some closure and sent you a message.
That's classic, man.
That is. And
It's
it was crazy. And the thing is, that happened on a night. I was going to make a funny joke then, but I won't. But it was on a night where I discovered one of the walking points for the Camino Walk. So, do you know the Camino Walk?
I've heard of the Camino. I know of it.
So it's from France to
There's a couple of trails.
yeah, there is. So this one was from France to Spain. There was a shell there, and I already knew about it. And I saw that. I was like, oh my God, this is a sign. And then there's a double sign that night when I fucking almost flipped off my chair when this person sent me a message saying fucking, hey, just you know, you randomly just want to just tell you this is like, what the fuck? Anyway, so eventually got closure. So to the people out there that'll be listening to this, think that need something, you'll eventually get it. Trust me, you will, but you need to give it to yourself first. So anyways, the tattoo design a lot of it was based on that person, but then eventually it morphed. Like I didn't feel it was right to get that tattoo.
Did you have the drawings already?
I had them. I purchased them after.
Okay. Yeah.
I purchased them after. And in my mind, I always had an idea that this design and this meaning is like deep down, it's not right for that reason, because it's forever going to be cementing that person
Yes.
in me in that state,
Yes.
which is I miss you, I love you, I want you back. Like, please, like that state. And I understand that now. Then I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I was going to get us, oh my God, look what this means. You know, like I got this on my arm and it's like some type of novelty for that person. Hopefully that like I'll speak to him again. It's like, no, that's not the right reason. And I always deep down knew that. So eventually going through Lodge, doing all that stuff, meeting you guys, I never let go of the symbol that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
And the symbol is sun and moon.
Yes.
And the thing is, I wanted to get the sun, but not in a circular text. I wanted to get it in the open text.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for the people at home. It's in a circle and it's written in Tibetan script. But I wanted to get an open text. And I wanted to get it on my arm. And I actually went into skin deep at Newtown,
Did you?
talking to them about it.
Interesting.
And then they're like, yeah, we can do this. And they were explaining it to me and how
You're
long it'll
lucky to
take.
get out without actually being tattooed.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Or fucking, yeah,
That's
true.
how those spaces work a lot of the time.
Mhm.
That's how the tattoo shops work a lot of the time.
I was just guided from above. But I also didn't have I had the design just on the phone, but I didn't have the full PDF, which was, I don't know where. It probably was on my phone. Anyways, I was guided not to get it. Eventually, after doing all the hard work on myself and going through forgiving and working on myself and coming to a new version of who I was, that's when I spoke to saying, actually, I want this. And I think I want them. I think I told you I wanted a placement on my chest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So completely different from having sun, which is also the figure. When you get sun and moon, the sun will be the father, the moon will be the mother, masculine, feminine.
Mm-hmm.
On my right hand, that'll be extremely dominant. What I'm thinking about it now. So here it would be too intense. But I said, I'll get them on my chest. So then we got sun and moon on my chest. And that was the beginning. And that was to anchor the early parts of my life, the heartbreak, the depression, the anxiety, the difficulty, the healing journey. And then that was to anchor that past point and coming to this new stage. And that was actually the stepping stone. But also, if you look at it, it's on my chest. So it's over my heart. So the first part that I needed to heal in those earlier parts was my heart.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay. So then I had that done and I was like, okay, I'll think about the next tattoo that I want and I'm going to take it in grace. I'm not going to I don't feel that, and this is me personally, I don't think that anyone should just go get a full sleeve bang. I want this whole massive thing. I think that you should get little bits and pieces in clusters, maybe just one thing, but even just a little cluster and build on it because you're still not the same person you were when you decided to get it. And from what I've seen with the tattoos so far, they've aged. I'll show them to you after. They've aged. They've changed. They've sunk in, and the story on them is just ever growing and evolving, and it's power. Okay, and the reason why I got the circles was also for the power circles. That they're power. The power points are anchor, and also what I wanted to heal was mum and dad.
Yes.
Mum and dad there.
Yeah. That's been a big part of your story.
It has. So, but the thing is, it's not healing and not from that chick. It's my parents.
Yeah.
So now I've got them anchored, and it's also loving my parents and putting them there and wearing them. Okay. So then I started to have the feeling that I wanted another tattoo.
So how long in between?
When did we get that one done? That was in 2016, I'm going to say. Probably 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
All right, around then.
Yep.
The next tattoo that I got, which is on my arm, I got, what's that, a half sleeve? I'd say it's a half sleeve.
Yeah.
That's a half sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's start of a sleeve. So I got that in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yep.
Fuck, was it last year? It was last year. So
yeah, so 8 years in between.
So 8 years.
And then, if I may,
Please
share some reflection. So it's like when you came in for that tattoo on your chest, the first one.
Yep.
A couple of layers. I can remember you coming in and it was still like, I'll say young Daniel.
Yes.
Yeah. You weren't in the state you are now.
Definitely not.
Right? That's a big part of them. It's like you move from one state to another.
Yes.
You only have one tattoo.
Yes.
And so the reason, like, what I do is the tattoo pathway is because what actually happens in between the points that you're tattooing, these passages, are really important. And so in the elevated point when you get tattooed, what your intention is, what it's about, the bits you can see and the bits you can't see, they influence the journey in between each stage. You know, and so if I think about who you were when you got those ones done, and then when I started to see this shifting and changing and this growth in you up until probably when you were getting those tattoos, these next one in that 8 years. We talked about it the other day at the convention. It's like, you know, Wind came in and kind of like was placeholder in this masculine father role.
Yep.
You know, and your mother was still there, and you were in this stage of going through your early points of discovery
Yep.
and becoming. And then in that time from your first tattoo to when these ones have landed, bro's passed, you've come out from your mum, you've had a breakaway there into yourself,
Yep.
you know. And so that aspect you were just talking about in the tattoo, it wasn't all there when you got it. That's the
No.
process of what's actually played out since
Exactly.
that tattoo
Yeah.
until this one.
Yes, exactly.
So it sort of carries you.
Yes.
You get tattooed, you make that acknowledgement, and then as a result, because you're trying to pin yourself to that future version of you, you get moved towards it, you know. And then you're at the point where it's like, okay, well, what's next? And that first tattoo is also like, your first tattoo is a threshold into not tattooed to tattooed. It's the unknown stage.
Yep.
No one that's tattooed is in any other stage except the unknown stage in how they relate to their tattoos.
Yep.
And then the second stage is knowing. And it's about 30% of your tattoo journey, and you're just getting tattoos in a way that's understanding what it is and what that process is and how it influences you,
Yeah.
and how it feels, you know, which is where you probably are now. You'll probably keep getting tattooed like this for a bit.
Oh, well, I know
And
exactly
then
what the next one is.
The next stage, the third stage, is the known stage. And it's like when you really start to see it as one thing, and the process becomes much more embodied, and you're like, okay, this is just one tattoo, and I'm just on this journey of trying to finish it. You know, we're talking about the last tattoo. I'm trying to finish this plan that I've got here for this construction that I didn't fully see before, but I can see it now. So it's like, for you, it might be like 2 sleeves that join to the chest. Let's just hypothetical, right? And it's like, when you see that, you move into the stage of like, okay, I know what it is now. Unknown, I'm knowing it. Now it's known, and I can refine that process and make sure it's balanced and harmonious,
Exactly.
fits well, and the story's 100% accurate, you know? And it will continue to do the same thing. It'll work on you in the same way. You know, that last tattoo might not be till you're in your 50s or 60s, bro. You know, but it's like, it's a lifetime to get your tattoo done. And it really, like you were saying, you shouldn't get it all done at once.
I don't think so.
It's like, it should take you that long.
Should be a lifelong journey.
It should take you that long to really comprehend your story, you know?
Well, that's true. So the chess ones definitely play a part, but they were a catalyst to go in. And then I started with my actual story on my arm. So obviously the monastery is my first instance of learning about the supernatural world and spirituality from a young age, like I was explaining to you. And that's also because I'm Orthodox. I was born Orthodox, and I will die an Orthodox, and I'll hold that to myself. Wynn was also saying, I used to think that, now we have to become Native Americans. Like, no, he would say, that's a beautiful religion that you have there. Go deeper, find the meaning. Go deeper, find it. It's not so much what the church tells us. It's you go find the meaning. And it's been amazing advice to the point where, you know, it's helped to grow that in a big way. So then I've anchored myself, like the monastery and the rock there, right at this point, which is my doing arm as well. Can you imagine, with my fiery nature and anger, of tattooing my dad on my dominant arm right there to always see? I don't think that was the appropriate placement for it, and I know that. Or if I did get it, there'll be a lot of work that I would have to do in order to overcome that and calm myself. So what did I do? I flipped it. So instead of having that aspect, I put an eagle, and everyone in our group knows that eagle represents, you know, our mentor, but also it represents my mother.
Yeah.
So I put her on my right hand. So now I'm thinking about eventually, like, to balance it, what do I put on the left? Well, I'm thinking about that, and it's going to come to me. So then it's all about that. So that's how I approach my tattoo journey. And it's only come about because I always think about yourself and the first experience that we had. And also, I remember the first tattoo experience. I remember that experience. It was so gentle. You weren't even there.
Hmm.
I didn't even sense you. You weren't there. You were there, but you weren't overbearing.
Hmm.
That's the most important thing as well. Your energy was so light, so none of your stuff is coming into me. This was
Yeah,
just
no.
pure. This was just
Yeah,
purely me.
yeah.
Where if you go to the wrong person, I'll say that someone that shouldn't be tattooing, or has their own stuff, in my opinion, not
Yeah, yeah,
maybe I shouldn't say shouldn't be tattooing, but someone that hasn't dealt with their stuff or they've had a bad day and things and don't process it comes into you. It's very
yeah,
important.
yeah. Well, I listened to one of our podcasts. So I haven't recorded all of our podcasts. Taylor's done a couple as well.
Yeah.
Our research lead. She did one with this. I think it's a mumble talk. So like a shaman, but in the Filipino tradition.
Yeah. Okay.
And he tattoos, right?
Yeah.
Again, tattooing's not separate in these cultures. You need to know all the other bits to be able to tattoo.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, he had a beautiful way of seeing it, and he's like, there's sacred tattooing and ceremonial tattooing, and he's like, there's
you need to bring the
also
mic up to you.
there's also a place for tattooing as art, right? And he's like, just people need to not be confused with what they're doing. Like don't say you're doing a ceremonial tattoo, right? And then bring your stuff in, right? But if you're an artist, sure, the same protocols don't apply, right? Like if I was an artist and I was just doing some cool artwork on someone, I could, be having a drink and maybe be processing my own stuff and be tattooing a client and talking through my things in the space. I'm not saying that there isn't a transfer like you're saying. There is, but there's room for that in this world.
There is.
Right? We don't want to say, tattoos can't be that. But then in the same conversation, he explains that like mental health is primary in the space that he holds ceremonially, and for his students. It's like if they're going to be tattooing someone, it's like, and they're not in a good place, you're not in that room. If you're going to tattoo someone, you're not touching anything. 2 days before you're in there.
I get that.
And again, we understand that being in the spaces we've been in, but it completely applies if you want to be getting tattooed yourself, or you want someone to be working on you at that particular level or from that intentional place, then yeah, all those bits need to be in check. Then yourself and the person you're tattooing need to be harmonized in that. The space needs to be focused enough that things from outside it aren't coming in. Personal things, environmental things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you tattooed me, it was such a beautiful, and we did a ceremony as well. I don't know if you do that ceremony for everyone, but we had a good time, and it was definitely cemented. But when I went to Serbia, it took me a while to find this guy. So I don't just go willy-nilly to anyone.
Yeah.
I'll do my research first. And I'm glad I found him because another guy that I was working with had something similar. He tells me he's in Serbia. This is his name. He's phenomenal. And then he's very renowned for doing a lot of Orthodox iconography, and just that type of style.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. I booked in with him. It was easy. When I saw him, I didn't feel him in my space either. It was in his zone, just did his thing, easy going, and just did beautiful work. And that's why I think it's very important for people to, when don't go those willy-nilly, oh, I got it because I was drunk, I had no idea what's going on. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maybe other tattoo people would, because then they get to, like, hey, I can cover it up for you, come and see me. It's a business. But I hold it in the sense of, if you're going to put it on your skin, it's got to be it's an action of ceremony, it's an action of meaning.
Yeah, but like I was saying, that if that's from a stage prior to their disruption,
Yeah,
like we're talking about,
I
the
get
thing
you.
that brings some awareness to their journey.
Yeah,
which is going to happen. It's like everyone's going to go through a stage that's like trying to break away. Like the rebellious archetype comes through in tattooing by far more common than anything else,
yes, I get
especially
that.
our generation,
Yes.
right? So it's like once you get through that and you start to move into like a more healthy adult psychology, and you're trying to sort of reflect on and maybe heal some things that might have played out in that rebellious stage.
Yeah.
Those tattoos that were done unintentionally when you're a
Or
drunk,
didn't
random,
mean anything.
they become the breadcrumbs, like I said.
Yeah.
Or like, what's the Greek myth where he follows the thread out of the maze?
Yep.
He goes in to slay the Minotaur,
Yep.
and then
Yep. Yep, yep.
he follows the thread back out.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like those tattoos that you get in those stages when you're going through the dark facing the
It's still
monsters,
important.
that come from your heart. He's given that thread to go in by,
Yeah.
the love,
Yeah.
that princess. It's like they become your path back out.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. So the tattoos I'm having to like cover and undo and reflect on in this mapping process, or maybe reading. Maybe instead of mapping, we can say it's like reading your tattoos, right? You look at these old markers, these old records, and if you read them, they give you the footsteps back to yourself.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
And I'm using the language reading now off the back of that convention, because I was saying mapping. I always say mapping, because there was so many psychics and mediums there. I had people coming up saying, "Can you read my tattoos?" I'm going, "I can't read your tattoos." I'm going like, "Oh, that's what mapping is."
But you can read the tattoos.
Well, it's like they can read it. I can reflect things, but it's like it's for them to read because they need it. The map's not for me; it's for them.
Yes.
So yeah. So there's a place for it,
Mm.
especially when you zoom out. I'm the same as you. I'm like, I don't want to tattoo drunk people. I don't want to do random things. But at the same time, they've been really valuable, those tattoos for me. And so there is a place for them to happen, especially when we zoom out, C'est chouette, all is as it should be.
Yeah.
You just go like, okay, cool. You just got to pay attention to it all.
And I find it amazing that, and you're right in saying that. So people at some instance in their lives will get these little bits and pieces, but as they grow wiser and older, they start to look for meaning and saying, hold on, I got this, this, and this, but I want this. Like, what's that? That's this. And oh, hold on a second. Now you're attributing meaning to it. Okay. Then you can also go back and say, let's revisit these ones. Would you like to then, to be honest, if yourself and the people that you're teaching and other people that have this type of consciousness, that tattoo, can come back to the original one saying, hold on a second, let's look at these ones. Let's actually join these together. Let's do this. Let's change. Let's go
It's
here.
happening all the time, bro.
But that's beautiful. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And it's
That's
like
the beauty of it.
the people that I'm working with that have gone through that process, there's multiple people where it's like they've just got one beautiful tattoo on their body now. And within that process, they've reworked or covered multiple tattoos. And not all of them. There's things that like don't need it. They might just need a healthy reflection, don't need to be changed physically. Yep. But usually there are some pieces that need to be physically addressed, opened up again so that the story can be changed and integrated or incorporated. And the people that have done it's like how that correlates to the work that they're doing on themselves, which is nothing that I'm doing. They're self-responsible. They're in their own process of trying to understand themselves and heal themselves and just work their life out, make sense of things. How accurately their tattoo process correlates to that in their like in-between stages is mind-blowing. The things people tell me when they come in, like I'm seeing a therapist or I'm doing this or this relationship thing or this thing at work. And as we're covering tattoos or we're like having stories and reflecting on them, you're like, oh my God, yeah, this tattoo has that piece of information in it. That pattern is there and that's playing out for me now.
Yep.
And I'm experiencing it differently as I'm changing it. And usually there's some layer of like resolve there or some layer of awareness, that comes in.
Yeah. So we'll go back to when I was saying the meaningless, like, to be honest, like there's nothing really meaningless. You go deep enough, you'll find that it makes sense. It's just hopefully that person gets to that point where they can start putting those things together and looking back at that stuff. But then in saying that, okay, I'm going to call you a conscious tattooer. So I'm going to call you a conscious tattooer. You're conscious, not just a tattooer, you're a conscious man. But are there other people out there that are like you?
Yes.
And so what are you doing with yourself now? Are you teaching other people? Are you giving away, not giving away, but are you showing and helping people to learn about tattooing through your lens?
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, like we've spoken about wind, but there's lots of other people, other tattooers and stuff that tattooing is one of those things where if you just spend time with other people that have a particular view or way of doing it and develop a relationship, there's like a transfer that takes place.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like I've also for a long time been getting very direct mentoring from different people,
Okay.
which has been extremely useful, probably since 2018 as well.
Okay.
I got one mentor in the States. And then since 2020, I've been running online workshops, like coursework.
Yep.
Developed some sort of language and framework and tools and methods off the back of what I've been doing with people. That's kind of, again, transferable. It's something I can go like, hey, this is what's been working for me. And I've mainly been sharing it and developing it for people for their own tattoo process, not for artists. It's useful for artists, but when an artist comes to me, I'm usually just getting them to reflect on their own tattoos as their first point of understanding what it is that they're doing. What have you done to yourself, actually? What's the process for you? And by going into that, to the level we're talking about, it gives them the clearest reframe on what they're actually doing with the people that they're tattooing.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's been the main process, developing these things and sharing them with people to unpack their own tattoos. So I end up tattooing a lot of these people, but some people are overseas that I'm doing it with, so I don't tattoo them. And only in the past 2 years, I've had some other people that are tattooing that have gone through the coursework, sort of drop into a real small, tight-knit community space where I'm mentoring them, but it's very reciprocal. We kind of share this online space, and I'll do calls with them every couple of weeks and talk about whatever questions they have with people they're tattooing, and share what I can see and share what I'm doing, and we share with each other. So that's been really beautiful and super valuable for all of us. So I want to continue sort of nurturing and growing that, bringing other artists in that are on the same page or looking for the same thing. But for people to understand their own tattoos, beyond like having to get tattooed by myself, that's what I've been focusing on as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got a couple of pieces that me and Jerish have put together. She's really good online and doing the digital stuff.
Yeah, she is. Yep.
Yeah. So last year we did a survey where I think we had about 70 people
Yep.
answer this really thorough survey that Taylor put together. And then she analyzed all of it. She's like, uni level, academic level research and analyst of information. So she went through that. She also went through the Reddit Tattoo Advice Forum. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a gold mine. Top 50 posts.
Yep.
Combed through people's responses.
Yep.
So quantitative and qualitative. And we pulled out all of these stats and we've put together a tattoo regret reset.
Yep.
Which is like a 52-page PDF.
That's cool, man.
Goes through the 5 main reasons that people regret something.
Yep.
We give our angle on like how that might actually play out for people, what they can do as a result. Give them lots of different tools. We've created a guided clarity journal. So in approach to tattoos, people can go through this workbook and it will get them to sort of understand the roots of why they'd be getting tattooed and qualify their tattoo for themselves. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to like guarantee you won't regret it, but it's going to give you a really, really good comb. It's going to scrape your eye and see whether it's something that's going to stand the test of time or not. What else have we got? We've also got a workbook on regret, so people can work through tattoos that don't feel good.
Yep.
Kind of just help them reframe it a bit, work out what their options are on the back of it. So we're doing a lot of things online, doing a lot of that, and I'm still just tattooing people as well, doing 2 to 4 days in the week.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever stop doing that. But I do want to sort of help spread the things that are being cultivated in the space that we have online. I want that to sort of go a bit further if I can. It's not about being the loudest or, trying to change the industry to something other than it is. It's just about actually feeding into it in a way that's nurturing and establishing something potentially that's going to be really valuable for the people that, like we said, are in a point of going like, hey, you know what? Maybe this does mean something. Maybe my life actually means something.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
You know, what do I have? Who am I? What's going on? How did I get here? You know, or how do I finish these tattoos? Like, what's this about? Feels weird wearing this. I'm not comfortable anymore. So I'm trying to establish something that gives them some tracks
Yeah.
that's credible, you know, that can get them into a place where it's like, yep,
Fuck, that's
I'm
wicked.
solid now.
Yeah, that's
you know?
fucking wicked.
Yeah. And connecting them to something, you know, that's real. It's like, that's the biggest thing Win did. Just like really initiated this connection to the mystery. It's like, this is real. This thing here beyond you is legitimate, and it cares about you,
Yeah.
you know?
And you're doing, and I guess a lot of the way that you're doing it is through obviously talking and taking people through it, but it's also through marking their skin and allowing them to heal through it as well.
Yeah,
On a different level. I'm just going to I want to take a quick break to go pee. And then we'll just take it on from there. All right, back from the quick toilet break. I'm lucky to have a toilet here, otherwise we'll be fertilizing. Nick, you got to get a lemon tree, bro, just in case. You can go fertilize a lemon tree outside.
Limoncello with you.
I love limoncello. So what I wanted to touch on now is when we came out to film you the other day at the Awaken I don't even know what it was. Exhibition. You had a two-part talk. So you had one aspect which was tattooing and mapping, and the second part was the afterlife.
Yes.
So okay, take me through that. Why would you go from that and the afterlife? So take me through that portion. Like, what did you want to talk about there, and how does that all link up?
Well, I thought if the convention or the exhibition was going to be based on the afterlife, which that's kind of what it was founded on. They wanted to talk about like what happens after you die.
Oh, really? Just bring your mic up a little bit more.
That's why they had so many psychics and mediums there. Right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's not wrong. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like what's on the other side. So initially it was like psychics, mediums talking to people that had passed, people that had had near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And because Taylor's dad was putting it on, he's like, you should talk about what you're doing. It's really interesting.
So, who's Taylor?
So Taylor is Paul's daughter who put the exhibition on.
Okay.
He ran it.
Yeah, but how's Taylor linked with you?
Taylor did the research for Tattoo Pathway.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes. All right, now.
And other bits and pieces behind the scenes.
Yep.
And I've tattooed her.
Okay.
As well, so she's been on a big journey with that. And yeah, so we got invited to speak.
Yep.
And a lot of cultures talk about this link between the afterlife or their ancestry or the spiritual realms and tattooing.
Okay.
You know, so it's like let's bridge these things for people.
Yep.
You know, because contemporary tattoo scene, you're not thinking too much about your tattoos and how they might influence your experience after death.
Yep.
Or link you to these realms where your ancestors are.
Yep.
Or what's beyond you. And so I just wanted to sort of open up that conversation for people because it's a really deep one. You know, it's like we're sinking well below where most people are with their tattoos. You know, so you got cultures that talk about not being able to be visible to your ancestors or to the gods and the spirits unless you're tattooed, which is a layer of like you haven't been initiated.
Yep.
So you're not visible, right? Even, you know, Wynn said this to me, and it's a strange one to reflect on because he just dropped little comments. He said to me at one point, he's like, oh, you know, I need to get, before I die so that I can get to, and he mentioned some place, I need to get an owl and a coyote tattooed on my hands, you know, which never happened. I had another tattoo for him as well.
Yeah.
That we didn't do. You know, so there is this link. A lot of cultures have this link. And so the talk at the convention, which I ended up talking for too long about the first half of it.
That's all
Just
right.
trying to get people to understand the link between their tattoos and their life. The thing we've been talking about this whole podcast, that passage is really important. It influences like the shape of your essence, the shape of what's contained within this body is influenced by the things you're putting on your skin. Your internal and your external experience influencing one another. So everything that you write or you record or inscribe on your skin is having some influence that permeates and influences you at a deeper level. And then that deeper level is the thing that moves over that threshold at death. If I die now, you'll see that I'm no longer here in essence. My spirit isn't. And my body will break down, it'll decay. The vessel will disappear, right? And so what we're doing with this vessel before it breaks down influences the shape of that thing or the quality or the vibration of it at that point where it's going to cross. Or, cross is very linear. We don't know what happens, right? So it's like whatever that process is that takes place, there's some type of a process. And the state of you at that point, of the action of you internally, the state of you at that point is what's going to influence what your process is, what your trajectory is, where you're going, So that's what the talk was about.
Amazing. So in saying that tattoos are initiation, so is that where they stem from?
That's where they stem from for sure. Yeah.
Do you think that we've lost that?
You can't lose it. You can't lose initiation.
Yeah.
Right? You can, it can become overgrown. You can not tend to it, or you can sort of, like the tracks can become less visible. But the thing that actually is the initiatory agent, the energy that inspires it's an internal thing.
Yeah.
It's coded into us. It's like we go through puberty, for example, right? So women are initiated biologically.
Yes.
When they start to bleed, or when they stop bleeding, or when they, bear children.
Yep.
And the men, like at the same time that we go through those changes, we're looking for something as well. We're looking for something. That's where this like energy comes up that moves us to do things that are challenging or crazy or rebellious.
Yep.
And so the initiatory pathway that might have existed for various cultures might be less visible now, but the initiation itself will just play out anyway, right? Or try to play out anyway. I think it isn't successfully moved through. It's not successfully orchestrated anymore.
Yeah.
So like you find a lot of people where that energy comes up, the initiatory response is there, it's stimulated, and then the expression just has poor aim, no guidance, so it might play out. You see it really often, like men might join gangs or do stupid shit, get in fights, steal cars. You see that play out heaps with the youth, or try and impress. Depends on the individual's state.
Yeah.
They might be like make a joke of themselves, become the jackass. There's all of these things that happen, but like, do you successfully initiate? I think that's the thing. The initiation there and wanting to happen innately. It's a very natural thing. It's like a seed will germinate, and if there's the right condition, it'll bear a flower, it'll bear fruit, but then there's like healthy plants and unhealthy plants. There's richer conditions for that, soil, environmental, or poorer one.
Yep.
So it's like, I think we're just in a bit of an unhealthy space, but you can't lose the initiation aspect because it's in there. So it's like maybe we're just not cultivating it correctly.
Yep.
That's probably where we're at. And so tattooing, I think, even unconsciously, a lot of the time gets engaged with from that energy. It's kind of like the impetus to get tattooed comes from that place. but then the program people have around what tattoos are, the thing that they've inherited, the contemporary tattoo culture, doesn't fully understand and grasp the potential of what the tattoo could offer someone in terms of acknowledging the stage for them beyond just themselves, giving them some really accurate direction on the back of it, adding layers of responsibility and contractual layers that might actually prop the person up. I think they're the parts that are missing now, that could be there. So a lot of the time, these initiatory processes that are playing out are just weak or incomplete or unsuccessful. So you end up with a lot of people sort of stuck in liminal space. If you think of an initiation as moving from one state to another, you could think that there's this liminal space there. It's like they're trying to cross a river, right? And I think a lot of people are like stuck in this river. They don't know how to get to the other side, potentially.
Yep.
And there's no one that's like really leading them across or showing them how to construct the thing they need to get there, or, so we're all kind of self-navigating. And you see it. There's people that are getting across, like yourself, like myself. We're getting across in ways, and we're having to go like, well, how did we even do that? How can we sort of make something that's accessible and something that we can pass on potentially to someone else in a way that they can do it for themselves, and it doesn't need to be exactly the same either. That's an interesting one. It's like no one's really the same anymore. We're all bitses, right? It's like, look at us here in Australia, trying to work out who we are and what we're doing and where we're going. And that's a global phenomenon, So it's an interesting one, man. We definitely need to develop, I think, more stable and structured initiatory pathways if we want to have men, healthy men, and young boys moving into manhood in a more consistent manner that sort of like build out a society and a culture that's healthy again, psychologically healthy and connected, and nourishing everything that you need.
Yep.
But what that looks like and exactly how to do it, I think we have to work it out as we go.
Yeah.
And again, that's just by paying attention to what we're all doing and being self-responsible, right?
Don't disagree with that whatsoever. One thing that you mentioned when we were hanging out the other day was a big thing for people is that they weren't seen when they got their tattoos. So they weren't seen before, they weren't seen after. And what that reminds me of is for initiation or when you do something triumphant or you achieve something, mentors and shaman and cultures would then mark you, as in you've now progressed from one to another, which is the same thing as skin offerings and whatnot that were taking place.
Yeah.
You would be seen. Like, I see you, I honor you, you've achieved this, bang, 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 whatever. So a lot of people, you said that they're missing that aspect when they were actually tattooed.
Yeah, they're missing the witness.
Yes.
Yeah, they're missing the witness. Yeah, and that's one of the pieces we've got in the tattoo pathway, and we speak to quite directly is trying to curate that for yourself. Like only you can know who in your circle is going to be able to comprehend, hear, receive what it is that you might be going through and hold that, might be your partner, might be a friend, might be a family member or not, but trying to have someone outside of yourself that is aware of why you're going through a process. And this isn't just tattooing, right? It could be someone like going to do a vision quest, going to walk the Camino. But if you can express to someone outside of yourself, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, this is why I'm doing it. And they go like, yeah, wow, I see you, great. And they see you leave one way, and they know that when you come back, you've gone through something, and then they physically can see that something's changed, and then they witness it. adds a layer of integration and acknowledgement, that's missing all the time, and also plays out in the other way. Again, it's like these processes were so well understood. Again, like this is part of what Wind offered, right? There's mutual understanding of the process. So it's like you come out of a process, let's say you've done Vision Quest, and people see you and they're like, wow. And this group of people understands, and then that sort of imprints you in a way. When people don't understand, and this is where we find ourselves, like I told you about my throat tattoo. It's like you might go through something that's significant, and then you come out of that process and you interact with someone that misunderstands you. Yeah, they're going to project almost the polar opposite. Why the hell would you do that? That's a stupid thing to do. Well, that's a waste of money. That sounds crazy. I'd never do that. And it's like there's the opportunity for the integration to go the other way, to be like quite disruptive. Can you remember what Wind was like if someone came in from Vision and somebody tried to talk to them or interrupt them before they got into a lodge?
Yep.
Wouldn't let it happen.
No.
They had to land and be received in the right way.
Yep.
It played out a few times in the mapping I did at the convention, talking to people in the audience, and they'd talk about their first tattoos as like, I wanted to do this for me. Maybe my parents wouldn't agree with it. So they're like rebellious, initiatory stage, trying to get their first tattoo. And they'd still get it somewhere that they had to hide it. I got it here so they couldn't see it. I wanted to do it for this reason, but I still hid it. So this speaks to the same thing where it's like we don't have an integrated and healthy process that's acknowledged beyond the person, beyond the initiate, right? So another reason why it might be unsuccessful, why they might get stuck in liminal space. I tattooed a guy the other day on the Gold Coast. Can't remember exactly how old, but in his 40s. He got his first tattoo when he was 25, okay? Transitional time. He was from Sweden, left the country, came to Australia. He just finished studying. He met his wife on that trip. He established a new job and he got tattooed. Okay. And he's like, this tattoo is going to be because all this stuff's changing. He got like an old school tribal design, and he went into just a normal tattoo shop. And that was fine. But I was mapping it with him because he's like, the tattoo needs to change. He's about to leave the country. He's still with that wife. He's got kids. Everything's good. There was nothing bad in the tattoo that he could see from from his surface level, right? And I was mapping it with him, and I'm like, just feel the tattoo. Just feel it for me, close your eyes. Tried playing some music. I could see him thinking there. Like, this is through the Zoom screen. I was like, what does it feel like? He goes, oh, it does feel a little tight. I can feel some tightness in the tattoo. I'm like, okay, just focus on the tightness then. He's like, oh, okay. 5 minutes later, he's like, I remember that the tattoo was actually a bit longer. Came to here, and I got the tattoo artist to just bring it up to here so it would fit under my shirt so it wouldn't get seen at the new job at work. I was like, what was the tattoo about again? He's like, oh, like who I am and like a bit tribal to connect to my ancestry and to mark this time. And I was like, and you just had to tuck it in under your arm then? He's like, yeah. So you've just had it tucked up under your arm. Who you are, you've had to have hidden for the past 20 years? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what's the stage now? I just want to like really step into and acknowledge who I am even more. I'm like, okay, cool. Bring the tattoo down. Change it. Bring it down from the sleeve a bit longer. Ended up coming down a bit over his elbow and locked that in. It was just like, oh, yeah, there it is. So there's nothing wrong with it at that stage, but it just shows that there is this layer that's still present where, again, we're having to sort of self-navigate a world that doesn't even really understand itself yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any advice for people that are struggling with their tattoo or want to go through changes or do something? If someone came to you now, or speaking just broadly to whoever listens to this, if they're unsure about, what they've had done, if they want to transform it or if they want to go for their first, like just bits of words of wisdom other than the last fucking 2 hours we've been talking.
Other than the last 2 hours, I'd say like just pay really close attention to it. So it's like if there's something there, like we've mentioned, that's good. It's valuable. You know, it's like if there's something that feels uncomfortable or not right, or even if it feels right, whatever it is with your tattoos, you just pay some attention to them. Tattoos are there for you to remember things, to record things, and so that they can give you a helping hand moving forward, right? They're there to sort of help you navigate your movement. So just actually pay some attention to them. There's a phenomena where you get tattooed. I'm guilty of this, nearly everyone is. You get tattooed and you forget you have them.
Yep.
So it shows how out of place our relationship is with tattooing. It's something there to make you remember something and you forget you have it. So pay attention to it. Like tune in with your tattoos. You know, sit there with your tattoos for a bit. You know, rub some oil into it. Sit there and like look at it. And like just think about it and tune into your tattoo. So giving your tattoos attention, like actually bringing your awareness to a focal point, site specific, and seeing what's there is probably a good thing to do it. And if it's something that like you're not happy with or doesn't feel good or whatever, it's like, that's great. Like, what can you get out of that? And you don't need to come up with some like quick decision around doing anything, but don't deny it. Like a lot of people get tattoos covered or removed because that feeling is uncomfortable. I made a mistake, I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, whatever. And they go two ways. It's like, they either go like, well, they mean nothing, it doesn't matter. Like, just swallow the thing and cop it.
Yeah.
Which is almost like disassociative.
Yeah.
Like a disavowal of something that wants your attention. Or they try and hide it, you know, by covering it or getting it removed. But you can't remove the information. You can remove the physical depiction, but you can't remove the information that's stored there in the body, you know, in the mind-body matrix.
Yep.
So really all they do is they just put it a layer deeper. You know, they add another layer to it, but it's still there under the rug, you know.
Yep.
Or like they paint it with some invisible paint.
Yep.
But it's underneath that paint. It's still there.
Yep.
You know, so you actually need to give it attention, you know, so that it can be transmuted or broken down, unpacked, whatever you want to call it. So just paying attention to it's probably the first thing.
Beautiful.
And then, you know, Tattoo Pathway has the tattoo that, you know, there's that document, which is off the back of the research, which has heaps of guidance in it. And also there's an audio version of it. You can listen to me talk through the guide for 2 hours. And then there's all the bonus stuff. There's the workbook to go through it.
So that's all online on a link?
Yeah, we can put the link.
Yeah, we'll put the link up on the description so people can get into that one there.
That's there too.
So where can people find you? I'm just in the most, beautiful way. I'm going to wrap this up. Mark, where can people find you?
Yeah, tattoopathway.com for all of the resources we're talking about. Me personally, it's themarkofnara.com or on Instagram.
Yep.
Email, messages.
Yep.
Get back to everyone.
And if they want to do some work with you?
Yeah, same thing. Just email, reach out.
Because where are you working from? You still a nomad driving around the whole country? Or
I'm in Brisbane. Yeah,
okay.
Brisbane, Gold Coast at the moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Lovely. No, it was one of the greatest pleasures to have you finally on the podcast. We've been trying multiple times and it never worked out, but finally it did this time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for coming all the way out to Penrith. I know it's a bit of a trek from where you
nice
guys are
part of
here.
Australia.
Yep. So, no, it is. It's not too bad. It's a bit fucking, there's quite a few tattoos around. I think a couple of people in the neck of the woods here might need that workbook. But it's one of the greatest pleasures and thank you and appreciate it. And we'll be in contact again and do another.
Yeah, if it wasn't your mum's birthday, happy birthday, you guys.
Yeah.
We could keep going.
I think maybe some things need to happen first and then we'll have a part 2 afterwards and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.
And
Appreciate
pleasure.
you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time and energy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so good, man.
All right, everyone. That was episode number 30 with the Mark of Nara with Mark Nara. And yeah, all right. Say hi to your mum for me. Bye bye. See you later.